For the past 100 years, California has been feeding the United States and the world at large. According to the USDA Ag Census, California ranks among the top agriculture producing state and the top producer of over 50 agricultural commodities. As many of you know, ag relies on water. Obama passed the Clean Water Rule in June of 2015, which not only threatens California ag, but also private property rights. Associated with the Clean Water Act of 1972, the Clean Water Rule justifies which waters of the United States have federal jurisdiction. However, Trump plans to dismantle this Clean Water Rule because it infringes on private property and negatively affects many farmers. So today I'm going to talk about what is the Clean Water Rule, how the Clean Water Rule is an overstep by the EPA and an overstep on the Clean Water Act, and how it's upsetting private property owners, and why you should support President Trump's executive order to revise the Clean Water Rule, and what social media steps you can take on supporting this executive order. So, to begin, what is the Clean Water Rule? The Clean Water Rule is a technical regulation from the Environmental Protection Agency clarifying which wetlands fall under federal jurisdiction. In simpler terms, it is the federal government's ability to govern bodies of water to decide who has federal protection and what doesn't. In 1972, Congress passed the Clean Water Act, which main purpose was to regulate pollutant materials from being discharged into the United States water sources. The EPA and Army Corps didn't know how to interpret what water of the United States meant, so they took to the scope of only major navigable waterways. From this confusion, Obama implemented the Clean Water Rule in 2015 to clear up what the EPA and the Army Corps have jurisdiction over. So, this broadened federal jurisdiction of WOTUS, short for Waters of the United States, was defined as flowing water, a bed, a bank, or a high mark. Other types, such as open waters without beds and banks, will be evaluated by a case-by-case action. So basically how the EPA spun it was that they took going only from navigable waterways to essentially any water that they feel as though could be polluted, that is clean, that is a part of the United States. As you can see from the picture, this is their main picture on the EPA website during that time. And it's kind of showing how everything was connected and that they should have jurisdiction over water even if it's on your private property. So, essentially, this allows the EPA to gain control over whatever wetland they feel is prone to being at risk to pollution, even if it doesn't have flowing water present. Many feel as though this is the most significant change in environmental regulation that has happened in the past generation. Now that you know what the Clean Water Rule is, we can further talk about the negative impacts on private property owners and farmers. Many people, like Richard Frank of the University of California, Davis, feel as though the Clean Water Act infringes upon the basic rights to private property. According to Attorney General Scott Pruitt in an excerpt from The Hill, the fact that the federal government has a say in how you can use your land is very offensive to many private property owners. Farmers around the country also took a strong opposition to this act. The American Farm Bureau has been a loud opponent of the rule, calling it a form of federal overreach that will strangle farmers' livelihood. Farmers have to acquire tedious permits for this because of the Clean Water Rule. In one case, a rancher from Tulare County built a new watering hole for his cattle on his private property that his family had owned for many years. Being non-compliant to penalties, he paid over $37,000 a day, absolutely killing his cattle operation, which is why you can see a lot of farmers and ranchers are opposed to this Clean Water Rule. Under the final Rule 204 of the Clean Water Rule, ditches are defined as tributaries, which essentially means that they have a rule if you have a ditch of water on your land. I'm going to give you an example. Suppose you're a farmer growing land which your family has owned for generations. One day, an agent from the EPA pulls up in his truck to inform you that you have to halt production due to a ditch on the side of your ranch being under inspection for abnormally high nitrate levels. Nitrate, commonly found in fertilizer, is all over agricultural land. These ditches fill with irrigation water runoff, not used for human consumption, which is to be expected that there would be a high rate or a high level of nitrate. Sadly, this is a reality that my family faces every day farming in Salinas Valley and many others. As we look at the negative impacts on private property owners and farmers, you now know that the Clean Water Rule isn't extremely beneficial. So, the policy that Trump just signed, it was an executive order that basically did not take out the Clean Water Rule. It's deciding to revise it, as the Clean Water Act does do beneficial things to the country. Clearly, protecting America's water is very important. Water is the basis of almost everything. This is a direct snapshot from the EPA website, which Trump has recently advised. As you can clearly see, he clearly states on the EPA website that what the Clean Water Rule does not do. So, it does not protect any type of waters that have not historically been covered by the Clean Water Act. It does not add any new requirements for agriculture. It does not interfere or change with private property rights. It does not regulate most ditches. It does not change policy on irrigation or water transfers. It does not address land use, cover erosional features such as gullies, rills, and non-wetland swales, include groundwater, swallow subsurface flow, and tile drains. As you can definitely see, Trump took to the likings of all the opponents of the Clean Water Rule and explicitly stated on the EPA website what the jurisdiction of the Clean Water Rule is. This has not fully been put in place, but we're moving towards it as Trump's executive order is signed. The EPA cannot simply just take out the Clean Water Rule. They have to go through a rulemaking process, which is what Don Parrish, Senior Director of Regulatory Relations at the American Farm Bureau, is advocating for. He calls many people to, if you support the Clean Water Rule and having it revised, to urge your congressman to pass legislation that requires the EPA to consult with state and landowners to regulate water. Furthermore, the American Farm Bureau has been implemental to the upbringing of the Clean Water Rule being revised. They created a social media campaign on Twitter with the hashtag WOTUS, Waters of the United States, to keep up to date, to inform everyone on the Clean Water Rule, what is happening at this time, and how it is evolving as President Trump's executive order takes place. If you support it, you can follow the American Farm Bureau on Twitter, retweet their tweets, and hopefully gain more awareness for what the Clean Water Rule is affecting, how it is affecting people. To conclude, after nearly 2 years of improper oversight from the EPA, President Trump took action and created an executive order to revise the Clean Water Rule. The Clean Water Rule hurt private property rights and put stress on farmers. Keeping America's water is crucial. However, individual rights and people's livelihood being compromised is simply not acceptable.